So what informed your decision to just take on to do social media? I mean, you said you'd been an accountant. What informed your decision to probably pause the accounting and just jump into this?
When COVID checked in, we had a lot of time
Right.
in our hands. So the time that now we had in our hands is what we made use of. Like I mentioned, she used to work at night.
Right.
So our shift checks in at 4 or 5, depending on the clock when it changes. So you can imagine we wake up at 8 in the morning or 9, and we have a whole almost 7 hours together. So you see, you have a lot of time to do what you want to do.
Well, a very, very warm welcome to the Goldmine Show. We're absolutely excited just to bring this show to you. As always, our pleasure to come and keep reminding you that there is greatness on the inside of you. You can quit on you. You've got to give you a chance. Doesn't matter where you're coming from. Doesn't matter what your journey has been. If you gave yourself one more chance, I want to tell you, there is greatness on the inside of you. Want to invite you to follow us on the Goldmine on Facebook, on Instagram, as well as subscribe on our YouTube show, and let's keep building a great community that believes in the greatness of every single one of us, both individually as well as collectively, as we become the greatness and become the greatness that we truly must be. Man, I'm excited about today's guest. Amazing couple doing amazing stuff, and my friend, man, I've looked forward to having this guest on the show, and absolutely, man, I'm excited just to have these guys on the show. You know them, and I want to ask you, man, check out their YouTube page as well. Check out their IG page and follow them, because they've got stuff that they want to give you. They've got nuggets that just keep making you better. And today, my friend, I'm excited that the Peekays meet the Goldmine Show, and therefore, without any further ado, the Peekay.
Thank you for having us, man. Thank you for having us.
Boss, finally you guys are here, man.
That was
Karibu, man. So good to have you, man. So good to have you, man.
Thank you. Happy
Boss.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, man.
So good to have you, man.
Thank you very much.
It's just that I missed the memo on the dress code, man. Man, I missed the memo, man.
It's all good.
Oh, you guys are looking amazing.
Thank you very much.
Amazing.
Thank you very much.
And so honored to have you on the show, man.
Thank you for having us.
Asante.
We are honored to be here.
Thank you.
We love the show.
wow.
We are your fans.
Thank you. Oh, you do?
Yes.
Oh,
we
thank
follow
you. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you, man. We keep believing in the greatness in everybody. And we just want
I
to keep
love that.
encouraging the greatness inside of us, man. And that's why we do this thing, man. Yeah?
We love it.
Asanteni.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for having us here once again.
Yeah.
And let's inspire, you said, somebody out there.
Yeah.
The
Absolutely.
greatness inside.
Absolutely.
That's what's up.
Absolutely.
That's
Absolutely.
what's up. Yeah.
Well, I think we're just going to do the first things first, man. We want to introduce you guys, and we want to allow you just to introduce yourself, man. Joe. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
The uniform.
Your uniform, man. Huh? Yeah?
Yeah.
Well done, man.
Yeah, ready.
Yeah, man. Let's get to meet you guys, man. We know you as the Peekays.
Yes.
But we can unpack this thing, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Go for it, man.
Yeah. So as you rightly said,
Yep.
we are the Peekays.
Right.
And the Peekays, we are made of 3.
Yep.
Me, myself,
Yep.
my wife, my lovely wife,
Right.
and our son.
Right.
But now my name,
Yep.
my M-Pesa name
Yeah.
per se is Peter Kiama.
Yep.
But now I've been formally or fondly known by Pon Socials as PK.
Right.
And I've appreciated that. It's become a brand.
Right.
And I mean, thank you very much to everybody who's out there,
Yep.
who follows us and supports what we do. And today we're here to just share with you our journey.
Right.
So at least we can inspire you
Kabisa.
on the Goldmine Show.
Kabisa, man.
Yeah.
So that's where PK comes from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Peter Kiama.
Peter Kiama.
Yes.
Now we know it. Majina ya kitambulisho.
Yeah,
Serikali ya Kenya.
now twisted around now it's PK.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic.
Thank you very
Fantastic.
much.
And thank you for bringing your lovely wife around.
Absolutely,
Man.
she's here. She's always next to me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when I have my hairline fading away, when
Yes.
I'm fading, then she's the flower that blooms up.
And that's an important realization.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we live life in a very twisted way.
Yes.
And we end up going back to our spouses when there's nothing more to offer.
Yes.
And you're scared of retiring because, man, you're a stranger at home, you're a stranger to your wife,
Yes.
stranger to your children. Man. You didn't take them along with you. And I think if there's one thing I really admire about you is the fact that then you guys have just decided to journey on as a family.
Yes.
I don't know that it happens a lot nowadays.
It is.
But I
and
celebrate everywhere it happens.
It is, and I think you've aired something very important because I think a while back, last 2 weeks, we mentioned that, you know, now, because right now, to be honest, we are working together. Like we share an office.
Correct.
And as we continue along, you will hear and understand, because it's not a smooth sail. Sometimes, like the road, you're down the hill, and sometimes there's a bump, there's a pothole, you've not seen that. You have to just negotiate around it. But now we're working together. Not like I'll say in the morning, let me wake up and go to the office, and I'll be back to the house. And if we're not speaking or we had an argument later, then, you know, I have time to go and just be out there and be myself, and then think, do I go home early or do I chill? Then I find
Or do I PT somewhere? And we're going to get into the details of that. I mean, we've just come from COVID. And guys could barely live in the same house. I'm discussing spouses. They tell us COVID brought enough separations and divorce. Guys just couldn't. And I want to know how you're able to sleep in the same house. And also go to the same office. And how that works in the year 2022. We'll be coming down to that. I want to just allow you to also go ahead and introduce yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Milka.
Milka.
My M-Pesa name's Milka Gadoni. But of course, married to this handsome young man. Young.
Young is relative.
Well, if she says it's young, then it is young.
If you say I'm young, fine.
That's what it is.
But on the socials, it's Milka wa Peekay. It's definitely Milka wa Peekay. So born again Christian, we love the Lord in our family, content creator, and businesswoman, and a mom to our amazing son, Miguel.
And making your big impact as well. Making a lot of impact.
Tell us, you are the one who put it. We cannot drum our own drums. Are we making an impact? That should be a question.
I love the African modesty that, you know, the African modesty hardly speaks about the good things we do. You go to Europe and find some guys doing some small things, but they make them sound so big. And I don't know whether modesty is an asset anymore. I don't know, but I'm just going to leave that one out.
But to answer your question, that is what we inspire. That is what we look to do in this social media space. Live, love, learn is our tagline.
Tell us more about that tagline. It definitely got my attention.
So the live part is basically just our lifestyle. You know, we just share our lifestyle. And love is to share the love of God, and our love, you know, and just love of people. We love people. We love meeting new people. We love learning new things. And then the learn part, we just want, when someone stumbles onto us, maybe our YouTube or our, you know, Instagram pages or other pages, they're not going to leave the same way they left. They are going to learn something.
That's true.
Because we don't want people to be wasting time. You're there on social media and you're wasting. Just just learn something. Whether it comes in an entertainment sort of way or just, you know, the kawaida educative way, you know, ile you're teaching someone something, in whichever way it comes, mtu asikwe tu amepitia kwa the Peekays,
na ametoka hivyo.
So we really, you know, aspire for people to learn from us.
So it's live,
love, and learn.
And learn.
Yes.
How long have you guys been doing this bit of the social media, influencing and building the content?
It's a year, now 2 months. Which will be, because we began on February 4th, 2020.
That's our YouTube.
Yes.
But
and I think we can say just slightly under 2 years.
And really, what inspired you guys to get into this space?
Actually, to be honest, I don't think there was any inspiration. We just found ourselves. What happened, the people who we were around with then happened to be people who were on those streets. I think they were beginning, and they went on and became, they grew in those spaces. But just by what my grandmother would have said, that if you walk with somebody who is doing something, most likely you will do the same. So I think by us walking with them, we just found ourselves there. So we never sat at any one point and thought that and discussed and said, let's just do this, let's just go into social media space. No. And then on after that, COVID happened. And COVID, I think, is what now really like opened the eyes and catapulted whatever that small little spark was. And now we found ourselves now, people would call up and say, like, we want you to do this and that for us. Then we know nothing, and we had to consult and ask, okay, we are getting this kind of thing, how do we go about this? And slowly we realized this is a space we can just start embracing and running with it. And that's how we ended up in it. So there was no structure, there was no fire, like we started and thought, like, let's go into social media. That's how it happened. That's how it happened. I don't know whether I've left anything out, babe. That is how it exactly happened.
I love the babe thing on social media. So this is purely a question of who you hang out with.
Yes.
That's how this thing
for our case,
for your case, yes.
For our case, that was how it happened. Because then, both of us, we had a daytime job.
Day, night.
Yeah, okay, day, night, depending on now.
Yeah, we were working
hours, but we were both now employees, 8 to 5, and she used to work at night, but almost the same shift as what I would do in daytime. But we're both employed. Until now that happened, and COVID happened, and things are now coming down one by one. And then you realize there's so much happening in the online space. You could tap into that.
And I really want to take that further, but I just want to take one step back. No one was born on YouTube, and hardly do any of us go to school to do this stuff. We've all gravitated, but a lot of the people that I've seen have gravitated from somewhere into this thing. And I just want to prod a bit of where you're gravitating from. Who are you before we became these wonderful content creators, man? And I know she must have had a different journey from what yours was. Who are we before this?
Before I got into content creation, I was an accountant. I'm a trained accountant. So I was an accountant. And I was practicing that up until March of 2020 when COVID checked in. And so that was my background for the last almost 11, 12 years. That was what I was doing then. So you can say I am an accountant. Or I was an accountant. Or still an accountant.
Well, I suspect once an accountant, always an accountant.
He still does accounting.
Once an accountant, always an accountant.
Absolutely.
And it will be interesting just to find out whether then your accounting journey is then being of value in the journey that you're in right now.
To some extent, yes, but not, I would say probably 30%, because most of what we are doing doesn't require much of what I studied in class or what I used to practice. We don't deal a lot with that. It's just a small percentage of it that's in there. So a small percentage of it, yes. But I cannot attribute quite a lot of it to what I am doing. It's totally different. It was like diving into a new space, new waters. You know nothing. You're just starting from zero.
You know, accountants are generally perceived to be very conservative people.
Conservative
people.
Social
media is out there. And I'm just wondering how the transition then...
For me, incidentally, I used to hear of stories of people who are saying that probably my boyfriend or my wife, my spouse is an accountant. And like what you're saying, they're very conservative and hold things... You know, I even how I give out things, it's in a mincing way. But me, even when you met me, you remember, even when we go out, even not people I don't know, even your friends when you're with them, like I'm very generous. I love people. So I think that also that aspect of loving people, that small spark is what now was, I think was I would say what was blown up when now I was presented with the social media space. And I learned, let me just make this use of this, and it has now started growing pole with time.
So there's a possibility this accountant and conservative is more of a stereotype than a reality. It's more of stereotype.
Could be, yes. And I think most of it, people end up being what is said because of what they've had, not of what they are. Because me personality, personally, I'm a very kind person, and I love people, and I'm not conservative per se, and I'm an accountant. So could be, it's just what people hear.
That statement is a very profound one. People sometimes become what people define them. And they become hostages of other people. And never allow themselves to be.
Could be. That is what's ailing most people, because you hear people say that, let me use this, which is far from what we're discussing, when people say that all men are X, Y, Z. And people have now just, even men themselves have embraced that and said, we are this.
After all, that's what they say.
That was it, they say.
And therefore, then you slide into
So
it.
we are. Yeah.
And it must be very expensive for you to live for people, ultimately.
It is definitely.
You've got to give yourself the freedom to be you.
You have to. Because of what is also ahead. Like, I remember, and I shared this with her, and she knows this, because throughout my journey growing up, because their families I would have looked at and aspired to grow up in a family that is, you know, structured like there's mother, father, and you're both working in the same way. But now, somehow, things don't work out, and that's not anybody's fault. But now, I had a desire to do things differently. And a lot of what I do with our son is as a result of that, because I want to be a better dad. I don't want him, when he grows up, and says that I was not there. And she's a witness of that, and she knows that. She had that before. So I'm saying, it's not what people, don't box yourself into what people say that you're this, because it would have been easy for me just to say, people say they're like this. I've seen it even in my own family, so why not just go with the same flow? But I chose, and I said I want to be different and follow a different path. Yeah.
Well, I think you've just said something about your child without saying it. And,
Yeah,
I'm just curious. I mean,
Yeah.
well, you know, part of what makes the Goldmine show a powerful one is because of some level of vulnerability.
Yes.
That allows us then, because then I have come to realize that what is most personal has also tended to be what is most common.
Yes.
It's just that all of us are in small little cartoon. Do you want to just expand a bit more on what you just talked about your childhood?
So growing up, I've seen a lot of my mom take up the burden of raising. We are 3 boys.
Right.
We're 3 boys in our family.
Are you the first one?
Yeah, I'm the first one.
Right.
And so I have tried where I can, where I could, to step in and try and assist. Like when I was at home, my mother would go to work, and I know she has to come in the evening and make food for all of us.
Right.
So when I grew up and got to an age where I could go to the kitchen and do something, I would do that.
Right.
Do dishes,
Right.
clean the house.
Right.
Because I know if I don't, she will come here and she will do that job for all of us. And she still has to go back to where she's employed and do what she has to do and earn that money and still pay for our school fees. So I not do what I have to do. Okay, my brothers were a bit young, so then they understand nothing. So
Right.
I stepped in.
Right.
So what I'm saying is, because I saw a lot of that, and it sort of, it taught me a lot, or rather I was questioning myself, why is it, because you know, the families where you could see that the father and mother working together in
Correct.
sync, then you could question yourself why, and then you see I'm young, living in a life where we were all told this or that, so I don't have the authority to question my mother
Right.
or my father.
Right.
So just go along as things are. So that is what I think I took away from my childhood, and it's something if given a chance, I don't think I would go back and wish to grow up differently.
Right.
Well, 70%, 30%, yes, maybe. But now I chose, instead of wishing to go back and grow up in a proper homestead altogether, let me just now do that for somebody who will eventually say that I did this.
Yep.
And that's my son, and maybe our other children who will come.
Yep.
Yes, be a better father.
Right.
Be a better
But
parent.
I'm just curious, staying just with that childhood, because then you can't wish away what you saw in other homes and wished what it would be.
Yes.
And you can't run away from the realities of how you grew up.
Yes.
But I'm just curious, what did that do to you as you watched some of those things play the way they played?
I think it sort of dealt a blow with my, I think, self-esteem to some extent, because I thought I am a lesser being in society, because you're not. I know very well that my mother is trying as much as she could to put us to the best, whether it's education, whether it's what we get. But then you go and see other kids who are in those families and having X, Y, Z, and then your mind tells you that you wish you had that.
Yep.
But truth is, you don't have to go and pile that pressure on your mother.
Correct.
Because she's doing it single-handedly and we are 3 of us. Remember, I said we're 3 of us. So it sort of made you feel like, why me and not everybody else in society? So it sort of makes you feel like you are not meant to be part of the society. But then I think as
You feel less.
you feel less of a being.
Right.
But then as you grow up, I've come to appreciate that was probably a part of my life, maybe God chose that I go through that path, so I'd probably maybe I would be different if I grew up in a different home.
Correct.
Maybe because of my personalities,
Right.
I would be different.
Right.
Yes.
And looking back, what kept you together as an individual, just going through some level of it not working? The Englishman calls sometimes some level of dysfunction and whatever it is.
Yes.
What kept you going through some level of that dysfunction?
I think the one thing that kept us going is my mother is the one who held us together.
Right.
Because if she had given up on us, I don't think would have sailed through.
Right.
So I attribute a lot of what we are today to her. She's a very resilient woman.
Right.
She held us down where she could. She did what she could to the best of what she could.
Correct.
Whether it's putting us through education, feeding us, teaching us whatever needs to be taught, whether it's taking us to church, putting up a structure that's a house for us and all those things. So I attribute a lot of her resilience and her as the glue that bound us together as a family.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I'll be coming down. I mean, you're a father today. I mean, there are things you
Yeah.
wish you had then that you don't have today. But hey, wow, PK.
Yes.
Tell us, man. I mean, before we came, I think the question was before we came to social media, what was your journey before getting to these points?
Oh yeah. So I was working as well.
Right.
And also I had a business.
Right.
I've always been a makeup artist.
Right.
And also I had a business.
Man, you should be coming to do makeup for us up here.
Yeah, call me. I'll be glad to do that.
Right.
And to just pat your face.
Correct.
You know, even men wanafanyangwa makeup.
Hey, my
Before
friend,
sex.
when I tell
And
you
mbona-
about
mbona-
powder, but I'm like, these things feel like Greek. But anyway.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mbona hujanipaka?
Makeup, by the way. I need to-
Jay Pakwa.
Zee.
Ah.
She has only drawn me a couple of times when the barber has missed to leave my sideburns, and then she has just introduced the eye pencil.
That's makeup.
That is part of makeup.
That is part of makeup.
Yeah.
But mostly I don't remember, but it should happen. Yeah.
Right,
And
right.
I was also a full-time employee,
Correct.
compliance manager.
Right.
And also marketing. That was before now I got into compliance management. So marketing has been a big part of my journey.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Marketing, compliance. They sound
Marketing,
like two different
compliance,
things.
makeup, artist.
Yeah.
For me, you know me,
Yeah.
I am multifaceted.
Right.
So you're gonna find yourself in this side of marketing. You
Right.
find yourself in the side of beauty.
Right.
I am a very all-rounded kind of person.
Right.
So I can do a lot.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. Well, it's just a connection between marketing and compliance. You know, the compliance guy is like a policeman more often than not.
Yes.
Yeah.
Marketing is a liberal guy. So
It
which is
because I'm a choleric and sanguine, so that's where I can be whatever you want me to be at a certain time. If you take me to a serious place, I'll be serious.
Right.
I'll direct things.
Yeah.
But when it Peekays, party after party, I'll be on the front line.
so you can be a
So
cop
sometimes I
and
can be,
the party maker at the same
yes,
time.
at the same time. Sometimes it's hard to understand me, but yeah, that's who I am. I can be serious and I can be funny and, you know, let it loose a little bit at times. Yeah, depending on the situation. Yes.
You must be a very rare breed, man.
I'm a very rare breed.
I can imagine you must be a very rare breed.
I'm
man.
a very rare breed.
How do
And
you-
also I
yeah.
evolve.
Yeah.
Like one day I can be into something and then the next time you're unapatana, maybe I'm doing something else, you're like, huh? See, I left you doing this. Yeah, that's me.
Yep.
I'm also getting to learn about myself because I'm also sitting somewhere and understanding about myself. And I've come to appreciate who I am, that I evolve and that I can do anything. Yeah. So long as I have passion and and my mind is there and I want to do it, I can do anything. Yes.
Wow. Wow.
Rare breed.
Rare breed, I must say. I mean, that's a very rare breed.
Right?
Yeah.
Right, babe? Is that
Yes.
not true? Yeah, because the other day I was asking, babe,
Yeah.
I don't understand myself. Like, if you were asked, actually had this conversation because I was totally actually confused about myself as well. If I asked you, outside of me being your wife, like, I came and said, define Milka, what would you say? And he had the same to say. He was like, I don't, like, you are so many things. I cannot say you are one thing, right? And that's where we came up with the term multifaceted,
Multifaceted.
and I just embraced it, and that's it. So I'm running with it and evolving where I need to be. Yes.
And allow me to ask you, because multifaceted, rare breed, and all of those things. Well, there's always this theory that says if you identify probably who you are, then you know who you're not, and therefore you're able to thrive in a certain space and just go all the way. What's your view about this?
Yeah, and that is very confusing because it does have its pros and cons. Because in this society, in this where we're living at, we are told to, to take one thing and run with it, and take one niche and just stick to it. But for me, it doesn't work. One day I'll act, the next day I'll run on a runway, I'll be a model, the next day you'll meet me very serious, brainstorming things, the next day I'm script writing. For me, that it just does not work. So I guess it is what it is.
It is what it is.
And that's who I am.
We thrive in our many spaces.
We thrive in our rare breeds.
Yeah.
In our rare breed, multiple space.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, this compliance individual meshing up with this beautiful, wonderful accountant, and so where did all this social media and just the transition from the formalities of accounting and the formalities of compliance? I mean, compliance is very formal.
Yeah, very formal. That's why I said I can be very formal and very informal.
Yeah.
For me, it was not stressful for me.
Yeah.
It was so easy for me to transition. I did not even find it hard to try. I did not even know when I am entering the social media space. Like for me, it was so normal.
Yeah.
Because for me, I like to make people laugh. I can do. I'm crazy. I can do. I'm sure if your people know, they know.
Yeah. If they know, they know.
If they know, they know. So for me,
Yeah.
it was not. Maybe for him.
Yeah.
For you, it was a bit hard. Yeah. Because
Well,
for you also, you are a very private person.
Yeah.
Private
Somehow, yes,
person,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
and very,
but not stressful at all with changing into what I become. Not really. It's just that I need a lot of time to make peace with myself. That I am,
You're going to
as a flag, we're part of a flag. We do not just we're not huge risk takers. I don't jump into what I don't know what's happening next. I have to wait and see where do I stand. So it has.
And after you analyze the analysis to figure out.
Yeah. You balance
Because I use
off,
a
you balance off
English
everything.
language,
Then I'm full blown 20 kazi.
Yeah. I'm just curious, therefore. So what informed your decision to just take on to do social media? I mean, you said you'd been an accountant. What informed your decision to probably pause the accounting and just jump into this? And the same question to you.
In my case, I think, like I said, there was no structure.
Yeah.
What really happened is when COVID checked in, we had a lot of time
Right.
in our hands.
Yeah.
Right.
A lot of time.
Everyone had-
I'm really like we're only told that we'll have a Zoom meeting tomorrow at 10 and find out where we stand. That's it. So there's not much happening. So you understand
And
how
then TikTok
it happens. Yeah.
TikTok had just started.
Yeah, there's no petty cash receipt, no tea in the office, nothing, no periodicals or anything happening in the office. So there's nothing much happening. What was happening, a lot of it was maybe payouts that were done by people who are in the higher departments, the CFOs and what have you. So the time that now we had in our hands is what we made use of. Like I mentioned, she used to work at night.
Right.
So our shift checks in at 4 or 5 depending on the clock when it changes. So you can imagine we wake up at 8 in the morning or 9 and we have a whole almost 7 hours together. So you see, you have a lot of time to do what you want to do. Because now I'm not going to the office. Alternatively, I used to, because when I was employed, 6:30, I'm out of the house, and I'm back at 8 p.m. When I'm back in the house, I'm tired. Me, I'm a day person and a morning person. When it gets to 8, 9, 10,
You're out.
forget about me. Don't tell me to do anything serious.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah.
But now that's what I'm saying. So what happened is that time we had during COVID is what now I think gave birth to social media. But nothing that we sat down and decided, let's start doing social media. No.
Yeah.
So we said, TikTok is here. That let's try.
Let's try.
Let's try.
Let's do
Let's
this.
do this.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how it happened.
And then you find you're entertaining so many people at the same time. You know, people are out there. Like, I find that people out here are so they're hungry for content.
Yep.
People are depressed. People are stressed. So you do a TikTok there, a funny one. You find people are so entertained. They're so happy, and you want to keep entertaining and and creating awareness of stuff and beings out there. So you keep doing it until now it just flows. It
Right.
now
Right.
becomes a full-time
Right,
thing. Yeah.
right. And this has now become your full-time stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, and business, yes.
This is your full-time business.
Yes.
Effectively saying to me, you can actually live
And now
off this.
this
Yes.
and business,
Right.
we have a couple of businesses.
You have
and,
other businesses in there.
Yes.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
And
how-
yes,
yes. Go ahead.
And we can live over this. You're asking if
Yeah.
we can live. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you can. You
You
can live
can.
off
Of it, yeah.
what they call it nowadays. It has a new term. It's called influencing.
Or
You can
rather,
live off
content creation.
Content creation.
Yes.
And part of even what I wanted us to discuss also is then the question of monetizing the influencer beat, the part of the content creation and all of that stuff. I mean, as you say, there are funny people in there who make us all laugh, but then they sleep hungry in the evening. And the question is that journey that helps you then to monetize this thing that you just know so naturally do. I mean, I'm sure you don't even struggle to do it. You just do it.
Yes.
You're amazed at how we respond to it, and then
Yeah.
you just do it. But how do we then get to monetize this so that then the many people out there who are in the art space and all of that stuff, how do we then monetize this so that they can live off of it? And what has your journey been in terms of monetizing this?
I think what I would say, I think right now it's blowing up to be a big thing, and I think most people are making something out of it. We've seen all out comment and mention a few of the people who've been arts, like comedians who've been there before, but like you're saying, they are still doing that and we're laughing and they're on TV, but yet again, you still hear when they fall sick, we are called upon to do mchanga and what have you, because there's no money. Because again, also I think our setup as a country, speaking for us as a country, because I don't know how other countries handle this, but as a country, I think we have a lot of broken structures. And that's what is ailing us, because even guys who are doing music, they keep complaining they don't get their royalties at all,
People don't
because
think art
there's a lot of
is-
bureaucracy. No, there's money is there at the top, but then it doesn't get to the person whoever is the artist doesn't gets nothing. You find you've raised 1 million shillings from your song last month, but what gets to you is like 50,000 shillings. Everything else has just been, you're told that this commission has to collect this amount of money. Oh, the government needs this amount of money from you. By the time you pocket, whatever you pocket is nothing. It's just like change. So I think there are a lot of structures, especially for people who are in those arts. In the space, construction space where there's money coming in, apart from now you dealing with the taxman, I don't think they have developed any structures per se that I would say that you follow this to monetize your art. It's just that now how you do it, and when you make whatever you're making, just be in line or be in the good books with the taxman, then you're safe. But because if you're not, then again also the taxman is somebody else who really will be on your case, and he will come for the little that you have and everything. So I'd say what is ailing the country sana is the broken structures. So if you have people who are able to champion for the structures, and we have a good structure, then we're able to make money off of art. And then also, as a society now, believing that art, I think that's what you're mentioning about, yes, art. Because, like, I don't think I would have gone to my mother and told her that I want to go into now. Then, because it was not there, tell her I want to be a musician. She would tell me, no, I'm not wasting my money in school for you to just go and do that. So you either go and be a lawyer, an accountant, an engineer, or a doctor, period. We're not discussing, yes. So I think that also has part, but now I think most parents are embracing the idea that you can just allow your kids to be what they are, what they want to be. They can be sportsmen, they can be musicians, they can play equipment and make money out of it. They can be anything, dancers, anything. Yeah.
Fantastic. What do you want to add into this, especially on the monetization bit? How do I convert it to how it meets my rental needs?
Yeah, for us, God has been so faithful, to be honest, because we've never found ourselves like per se going to like find a client, but some people do that and it actually works. Which is what I'd advise to the people who are maybe, people are enjoying the art, but they're not getting the, the money out of it. Approach, just go and knock on those doors, pitch your ideas, a very good structured and unique idea, go and do that. But for us, God has been so faithful that we find the clients coming to us before we go to them. You understand? Like, even for us to start influencing, we did not sit, as he was saying, we did not sit and say, now let's start doing influencing. the first, what is it called? The first client we got, we were actually surprised. We were like, now how do we charge? Like, kuna charge yangu aje?
I don't even know how to do this charging.
We don't even know.
Yeah.
And it was a big brand.
Yep.
I don't want to mention them here, but it was a big brand.
And they're asking you for
and
your
that time we
invoice.
were nobody, like we don't even know who we are. We are just there.
Right,
You know?
right.
And they're asking us for a rate card. We're like, what's a rate card? So we are asking, how much do we charge? You know, we were so, and that is what it has been. It has been that when we really, really thank God for
Right,
that. We
right,
really thank God.
right.
So, but in a case where you're saying maybe someone has been doing this and this and no one has been coming, sometimes just go.
Yeah.
Just take a step of faith and
Take a
knock
few
on
knocks.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, knock on those doors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tell them what you. Some clients are just sitting. Maybe wewe wanakuogopa because you have maybe a lot of numbers and maybe you're an unknown person.
Yeah.
Sasa mnakaa mnaogopana.
Right.
Approach them.
Right.
Go and pitch your idea.
Right.
Say I can do this and this and this for your
Yep.
company.
Yep.
Tell them what you have and you agree.
Yep.
And you are going to get a few shillings because actually art pays.
Yeah.
There are people who are getting a
does.
lot of money
Right.
from
Within the art
and
space.
just
Yes.
content creation. So yeah, it does.
You know, it's amazing that a guy sees you and wants you to serve them and you don't even know what the value you want to charge is.
Yeah, we don't even know our value. we
That's
don't
how it
even
all
know
began.
who we are. We don't even know
Yeah.
our. We don't even know.
I remember that
We are
it
like,
was
you
just
remember?
COVID times, and we're just
You
there
know?
questioning ourselves. Now,
Yeah.
what do actually? I remember the first time we saw that email, we thought it was a hoax.
Yeah.
We thought it was a hug. We were
Yeah.
like, no, this cannot be us. And it's a big brand, remember. It's not
Yep.
that it's someone who wants to do small.
Yeah.
It's a big brand.
Right.
They're asking for rate cards, for
Right.
profiles.
Right.
They're like for the, what is it called? For the interactions, you know.
Yeah.
And then we are like, is this ours? But anyway, we navigated, and now I think from there, I think we started taking ourselves seriously.
A bit more
Yeah.
seriously.
Because if big brands are taking us seriously,
Right.
and no one had kutuongelelea ama we had a godfather somewhere. You know, if you had like someone inside and someone suggested us,
Yep.
we'd be like, oh, okay, so flani
Yep.
suggest.
Mention
But
that.
they were just there watching quietly, and then
Yep.
we were like, yeah. So people are taking us serious. Okay, then let's take ourselves seriously.
But it also means, and be careful what you post out there because people are watching.
Exactly,
People are
yeah.
watching.
People are watching, and whatever
Yeah.
you
People
push
are
out there
watching.
then defines the
And
brand.
not only
you're
because
becoming.
of
Yep.
money and
Yep.
clients,
Yeah.
just because of for the sake of our children, you
Right,
know,
right.
they are watching us.
Right.
So we are really careful what we put out there, and everyone else should be.
Right.
Everyone who is in this content creation space.
Right.
Everyone should be very, very careful.
Yep.
What we put out there.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
like you were saying something. You said that like the Englishman says. They say that the internet never forgets.
Yes.
Does
And
not.
people sometimes are not able to pick what to put out there on socials and what not to.
Yes.
Because there are things I would put out there.
Yep.
Maybe because probably we are having an argument, or because we're trying to chase numbers, me and her.
Yep.
Clout.
But then we forget that these things will come to haunt our
Eventually.
son and our children
Right.
Yes.
when we are too old or we're not there anymore.
Yep.
So we also need to be mindful of what the people who are, whether it's your siblings, your children, how will what you're doing now affect them or affect their life?
Years to come.
Will they go and say I was, and then you're told that, oh, this was said of you by your parents, then what do you say about that? That's a very hard question for you to, for, even if it was me,
Yep.
to walk into a room and an interviewer asked me to comment about something that was said about me, which I did not even know. Yeah.
And now that you've raised it, then, what has guided your do's and don'ts? What to put, what not to put within the social media? I'm getting concerned about some of the things we get to see nowadays, man. People
Oh, yeah.
started well, and I'm not sure we can say they are continuing. But you know like how it started and how it's
Yeah,
going.
Yeah, totally different.
Sometimes I've seen those. So what has guided you guys, man?
I think, let me underscore, when we were beginning our YouTube channel, which
Yeah.
was a year ago.
Yeah.
We just turned a year, I think, in February.
Right.
So we started off February 4th, 2020.
Right. Man, you and
No,
dates,
2020, yeah?
you and dates, you're doing
He's
too
better.
well.
He's better with dates than me.
It's not too many men that remember dates this one,
Yeah,
man.
sure.
I'm
Yeah.
impressed. Hey, up.
So when we had that, because the Instagram pages had really now had traffic and growing, and people kept telling us that now open a YouTube channel, open. But now, you see, now we said we'll not bow to the pressure.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
we'll do, let's just do this. Let's just pray and ask God whether if you want us to be in this space, just give us peace about it.
Right.
And we prayed and we asked God what, when we go into it, because you're saying going into it is just not opening and leaving it there.
Right.
What do we do?
Right.
And to our surprise, actually, because we expected God to tell us, go and do cooking, go and do beauty, go and do fashion. I mean, yes, God told us, because we even had to fast and pray, you remember?
Yeah.
God told us that I will guide you. I think, and we've embraced that
Yeah.
from then until today. So we always seek from God. We really don't
Bow to pressure.
of content or anything. We just it has to align with our faith, and also has to be. It doesn't have to conflict doesn't have to follow the trends of what is happening presently.
Right. Right.
Yes. So we take it. If it's something that is in line with our faith, we do that. I think that's what has kept us grounded, not buying to the pressures that are around.
And the pressure is real.
Trends are happening. People are doing this or that or this or that. So we've chosen not to go that direction.
Right.
Irregardless.
Right.
Whether sometimes you find that you are putting a content there and maybe only 1,000 people get to watch that. Maybe it was God's intention. The person I'm going to target is in among the 1,000 people. That's it. I don't need to attract 1 million views because sometimes people are doing that for those numbers, but it's not the case.
For you, so for you, it's not just about the numbers of the views.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's living.
Yeah.
Go.
And also we also have accountability partners,
Right.
because sometimes we noted when you are inside it, you do not know when you are going this way.
Right.
And sometimes you maybe intend to enter social media or content creation, and you intend to stay in line, but the pressure sometimes pull you away without
Right.
you knowing.
Right.
And by the time you're finding yourself, you find that you're too far gone. You've already gone down the hill, and you cannot come back again.
You're in the dustbin.
You have to keep dustbinning
Right.
all the time.
Right.
So we have people who watch us, and we have allowed them to let us know, Milka, Peekay, this is wrong. This you should not do this, and we trust them, our accountability partners, and people who pray with us, who check in with us. And for us, what we have done is we've given them space for them to tell us, and for us, we have allowed ourselves to listen.
Right.
That's another thing.
Right.
If
Right.
you do not listen,
That's
even if
powerful.
you have people to tell you, and you do not listen, you're not going to be helped, because he's an adult. You are not going to come and tell him, do not put out that kind of content on social media. Akisema hapana, what else can you
It
do?
is my account after all.
You are
I
not,
can
it's
put
my
whatever.
account.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you're not going to take him to jail
Yeah,
or
absolutely,
whatever, or
absolutely.
come with a gun on his head.
Absolutely,
You know,
absolutely.
so we have allowed ourselves to listen, and also we've allowed God in the content creation space, so that we are able also to have conviction about whatever it is that we're putting out there.
Yeah.
Yes.
And what you're saying about accountability partners, because sometimes what you do, if I see your string and I'll tell you, this direction you're heading is not the right. I was there, and this is what happened to me. And then you choose to just do the same thing, and I tell you again, and do not listen, and again. Me as your accountability partner, you know what I will do? I'll just now
I
just surrender and say, it's okay. I've done my part. The rest, now, you're on your own. So now we've purposely, and we told them when we began that when you something that is not in, because you know us.
Yep.
They're not people who we just handpicked at who don't know us. They
Right.
know us.
Right.
You see us veering away from what
Our
it is
course.
or our course. Please just call us out,
Right.
tell us.
Right.
And then we when they do, we listen.
Yep.
And if it means us making amends to that, we do.
Yeah.
That's how we remain now on the course.
Right.
And it's very important to have such people in your life. Yes, because not only do they call you out when you have when we are going down a hill, those people also call us when we are doing well and tell you, oh, you guys, this one you did, we love it.
We
Keep it
love
going.
yes.
Keep it
Keep
going.
it
We
going.
love
And
it.
that's how you know you have good friends and good
Yeah.
accountability partners.
Right.
They are going to tell you when you're doing right
Yep.
and when you're doing wrong.
Right.
Yes.
Not at every time when you're doing wrong. That one you've not done.
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Then you have to. It has to be a balance.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But I think you also made a very important one. You who is receiving the feedback must
You have to
retain a
be
heart that is
open.
pliable, that can.
Don't feel like you've become too big
Yep.
for the people you started with
Yep.
to tell you something.
Right.
Yeah,
Just be
correct you.
open
Yep.
to be correction. Or if it's something that needs to sit down and have a communication about it, tell me how you feel about it. Okay, so where were you coming? Let's have a conversation, you know?
yeah.
Don't feel like, you can't tell me. Now
Yeah.
you are telling me as who, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
That, you know, when your head becomes big, then you can
But Milka, let's face it, man. I mean, influencers are larger than life.
not...
Whether in their own thinking, I don't know in whose perspective, but influencers have become larger than life, man.
I think, like what I was talking about what the world is creating.
Yeah.
It is them now. The world has created influencer like a small god,
Yeah.
which is not the case.
That's the
We're just normal
picture.
people.
Yeah.
It's just that we happen to be out there.
Yeah.
There's nothing different with us.
Yeah.
We don't live in a utopia or our own space. We exist with everybody. We eat what everybody else eats.
Yeah.
We go through the same problems people go
Problems,
through.
yes.
We suffer everything.
Yeah.
And so don't expect that. Oh, that's a person we least expected akuwe na shida kama hii. No. We're just human beings. It's just that now I happen to be. You know, there's that thing people call extrovert and introvert. There are
Yeah.
people who thrive in spaces where you take them to a house by themselves. That's when they're at their best.
Right.
There are others who cannot even stay in the house when there's nobody, like us. Both of us are parents. We can't sit in the house when there's nobody. So if you are going west, let's go west.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that they're not larger than life.
Yeah.
It's just that the world has created that perception. It's
Yeah.
a
Yeah, it's a
perception. Actually, it's not a reality.
And that
it's a perception.
That perception is, you know, one's perceptions can also be their reality. And I'm just curious. The Peekays, of course, one of the things you've talked about is having accountability partners. What are the other two things that have kept you grounded?
Hey, God.
God. So accountability partners,
Yeah.
God,
Yeah.
family to some extent,
Yeah.
and family in this case could be diverse because we have even other people who we consider family because they are people we do life together.
Yeah.
Like we're in marriage, but marriage is not just you don't know
Walk
it
alone.
all. So the people we work. We're doing life together. They're also in marriage,
Yep.
so we work together.
Right.
This is happening, blah blah blah. So we're experiencing this. It's not new. Even us last month we had this. So it's just a stage and a phase. You'll go over it.
Right.
So that way also we grow and also gel sometimes because like we were saying about personalities when we began. If she's a choleric and I'm a phleg, sometimes you do not understand where one is coming from. So for that reason now, those interactions of us having those groups, they have now made us to understand where she's coming from to some extent. We do not know fully each other, but as we continue, we are knowing one another. And that has helped now spin the wheel. So I would say also that has played a very big role in what now, as you're saying, the Peekays we are becoming.
Yep.
And we are open to learn every single day.
Yeah.
We want to learn and become better of what we or God is shaping us to be,
Yep.
and to fulfill whatever it is that He meant with this ministry, because we believe this was His own idea
Right.
that He meant for us to execute whatever purpose He has of our lives.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Milka, responsible content creation is a battle we seem to fight as a society.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We can all agree. We can all agree. It's not even a tinini.
And I wonder what we need to do to remember that the things we throw today will eventually come back at us.
Yes.
And what does it take for us as a community just to do responsible content creation?
I feel like authenticity. Just being authentic. Journey, just be you.
Be who you are.
Be who you are. Don't chase after big names. Don't chase after. They are good at the end of the day, I mean, but don't do controversial things at least so that you can have string numbers or whatever. I mean, just be authentic, and people are going to relate with you from an authentic point of view. Actually, we were having another thing, the previous question you asked, how we, the things that keep us grounded. Also interacting with other content creators. you are able to now, like from now a content creation point of view, because maybe you might have those friends but they're not into content creation per se, they're just consumers, but people who are there already, you share ideas and see where, you know, and people who have been there before you, and that line I've told you just came from yesterday. We were having a conversation with another content creator. They said authenticity, it is, people are going to love you for who you are. Even if you become fake and do all those controversial things, people are going to be there, yes, for the hype and gossip and whatever, but they are not real. You need quality over quantity. That's it. And that we got yesterday. Actually, yesterday when we were talking, we were having a conversation with a content creator who we really admire.
Right.
Yeah.
And quality over quantity.
Quality over
authenticity.
Quantity.
Yeah.
Authenticity.
So is authenticity on trial? I mean, when we see what we are seeing, are we failing the test of authenticity?
Oh, yes.
Now that we see what we see.
Yeah, sure, right?
Yes.
We are failing because
Mostly, and I think
because
that's,
people are not giving what, but like what you see is not what you get, kind of thing is not happening.
yeah. What I meant to say about what that question is, I think people are now, they're just out there, like we were saying, for lack of a better word, I'll say just for conversions. And like even it said it says in the Bible that, you know, let not greed drive us. Because I will say, because I see I'm aspiring to go and pitch a project to a big corporate, let's do XYZ, might have more traffic and be able to convince them that because of this is happening. And you know, there's a lot of theories that are happening in the world right now. So you will look at somebody who is totally of the other world, because we are of faith, but somebody who is on the other side is doing so well, and then you think, let me borrow what they are doing because of those numbers and try and do that, so that I'm able to pitch and say that because of these numbers I can be able to do X, Y, Z. But you see, we also want, again in Romans, that we don't conform to the patterns of this world. So that is why I think we are failing. And that's why now you don't necessarily say I don't want to be authentic, but you just fail in what the route we follow. If we choose to be of faith, let us be of faith through and through, but not to kifika point to say hapa wacha we do what the world is doing and see how it translates. See, now it doesn't, somebody who is watching you for inspiration or for your journey where you began, now at that point they get lost. They get lost.
Great.
So to be honest, I think that there's a lie. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
On top of that, competition and wanting to be like so and so.
Right.
Competition and comparison.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think at the end of the day, we've got to remember why we were there in the first place.
Exactly.
Yes.
And what
Stay
took
true
us.
to the cause.
Stay true to the cause.
Yes.
And stick with it.
Yes.
Fantastic, man. You know, you said you guys spend the night together, spend the day together, and spend all your time together. And I'm just curious, man, how in the year 2022, a couple's able to work together all day and just, how do you make this happen?